Do you run your family kind of like the CEO and different managers? I would say employees, but call your kids employees, aren't they? Maybe they're under managers, middle management, but you are the president and CEO of your family. Do you have family meetings? Do you get together in the living room around the dinner table? Hopefully you still have the dinner table. And talk about the day's activities, what's coming up, what's going on, plans ahead, what is your focus. The family meeting is very important. So says Dr. John Braccio, drjohnb.com on the web. Regional Psychological Services East Lansing joins us right now. What's up, Doc? Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And, I do strongly believe family meetings can enhance family unity and communication. This is true even in our world where we no longer always have the nuclear family, and there often is one parent raising children, parents co-parenting children, or there is some combination of family members in a blended family. I would argue that regardless of the composition of the family, having family meetings on a regular basis can be very helpful. In such a fast-paced world where social media and the internet can capture the attention of children and adults for a good share of the day, it's important that there be times that families meet and discuss things related to them. I would suggest these be on a weekly basis to the point they become something that's expected and often pulls the family together when distractions separate family members from each other. Typical things that can be gained from regular family meetings would include improving family communication by having all members communicating, allowing children and adults to discuss their feelings and make arguments about what their needs are and what is important to them, a place that is psychologically safe where everyone can share their feelings and not feel they're going to be attacked or not be listened to, observe parents modeling tolerance and understanding. Everyone can have a sense of belonging, resolve conflicts that otherwise can simmer and lead to breakdowns in the family, using communication to enhance understanding in relationships, teaching children and parents alike how to listen, share homework responses, and work together as a team, compromise. Teach leadership through parental modeling that may, carry over not only from family meetings but to other relationships in life, and develop a closeness among family members that often is lacking. Now, it's quite a few things, but you can do some of those things, you're going to have a lot more effective home. Now, parents often do not do this because life can be so hectic. It's hard to have a time when people can sit down and talk. It also happens because it does not seem to be something that really is promoted as important in our society, and this does surprise me. I'm not saying that people are opposed to family meetings. No, I'm simply saying it does not seem to be something that people are talking about and doing as a priority. I can say from my interactions with people in my work and in general that family meetings are not common. It's not easy to just sit down and have family meetings. It's best that they have been developed as a family was growing up and became a natural thing for the people to do. Now, this is something that should happen at least once a week in terms of these family meetings. The time that's picked out each week to get together and talk. It's never too late to start. My advice is to begin trying it and see how it works out. Maybe awkward initially, but the possibility of developing better family communication certainly makes it worth the effort. So, Mike, I'm already promoting and saying it's important to have these family meetings at least once a week. And like you say, the dinner table, it's good, but certainly just a planned time that, hey, let's talk, let's sort where things are, let's look at responsibilities, let's see concerns, and go from there. So that's promoting I'm doing today, and I think families that do that, it does work out, and it works out well.
And we try to do this. We're less efficient with it now than we used to be because everyone is in their 20s and not everyone, Mom and I are not, but everybody's got a life, right? And it's hard to get it together. But I would say here's, just from my personal experience, make them informal. I know I said that, around the dinner table is perfect, but not many people have a chance to do that these days. But if you say, we're going to do a cookout, man, this weekend, and we're going to have some fun, it's a nice weekend, and it's Father's Day weekend this weekend, but any summertime weekend, while you're doing something else, then you sort of ease into that meeting. It's like you sneak them into it.
Mike, I think
get everybody
that's a
together.
Great idea. I think any way that you can do it where people can just, feel relaxed, not feel, that they're being pushed in a way, but just, hey, how are things going? What can we do differently? And sort out any concerns and then duties around the house, what people are doing. Because when people really come to their own conclusions in terms of willing to help, they're often more ready to do it than if they're just told, do this, this, and this. So it really can be a helpful thing. And also, I really do think it helps children to see their parents listening, actively listening, and also working and sharing and working things out. Because a lot of times, parents are really busy, particularly single parents, and you can be overwhelmed. So my advice would be, even with being overwhelmed and how hectic life can be, it's certainly worth trying to, have a meeting, plan a meeting, or like you say, even work it around a cookout or work it around some other activity where you just can get everyone together and say, hey, let's, what's going on? How do you feel? And really just work as a team. And if people do that, when people communicate, they don't even really think, they're not necessarily thinking about it. It just comes about because you're doing it. By doing it, you learn how to do it. So, I think it's an important thing to do.
I do a whole thing on running your family as you're the CEO. Run your family like a business. If you think of where you work, there is a boss, there's a hierarchy, but yet there are meetings. Your input on your particular part of that business is usually asked for. There, even if it's not asked for, if you have input and you care, generally you'll rise in the company. Same thing in a family. A lot of people think families should be democracies. Everybody gets a vote. That's totally wrong. The most efficient government is a hierarchy with a king and a queen, and then mom and dad. And everybody gets a voice, but there's got to be a boss, like your company, don't you think?
Well, I think it's important you certainly have a leader and you have a boss. I think what you try to do in these family meetings, though, you don't want to focus so much on I'm the boss, I'm the king.
Oh, no, that's not the point, no.
And you would agree. The goal is to where people can get together, they can communicate. But sure, when it comes to things that need to be done in the home, obviously it's going to be the parent that has to make decisions. But when divvying it up, that's where you try to talk to people and say, what can you do? What are you willing to do? We really have to get this done. In order for us to function, everybody does their part. And once people see it that way, family members, and people do it regularly, then it becomes their responsibility, something that they want to do. And if they don't want to do, that they've agreed to do, and they do. Otherwise, if you just have people coming home and getting on the internet and just sitting there and no one is working as a team, it really can be a real problem. Even communicating. A lot of brothers and sisters that really don't communicate that much. They share space. So I think if you can have these family meetings, and I'm not saying just once a week, but just where people can get together and talk and sort things out. And even if the parent is running it, and even if the parent, you could say, is a CEO, it's an area, it's an open area, because in a good business, obviously, you want employees to feel comfortable and be able to talk about things. So I think as a family, when people get together, they talk, they share, and they do this active listening. And it's safe. It's psychologically safe. It's not like, I want to hear all the stupid things you folks have to say today, and I'm going to tell you how dumb you are. Now, that is not the kind of family meeting, Mike, that we're talking about.
No. Well, and that comes back to my idea of hierarchy, and if dad or mom, you got the king and the queen and things like that. Throughout history, there have been great kings, really good kings who care about their subjects, but they're the ones who direct the direction of what this is going to be. Same thing in a business and in a family, I think. And like if the kids start snarking at each other during this meeting, dad or somebody's going to have to step in and go like, okay, hang on, that's not what we're about. Someone's got to lay down, this is what our identity is as the family. Here's who we are. Here's our direction. Someone's got to steer that boat, the captain of the ship, so to speak. There's a hierarchy. It really is.
Well, I think that's true. I think the main thing, though, you don't want to have a bad king. I mean, you want to do it in a way that there's communication, there's openness. You're right, though, the system, if you will, or the structure is set up by the parent. But you want it to be a structure that people feel comfortable, they can say what they're thinking, and and you're right, you don't want people fighting. Your goal is to coordinate it and make sure, hey, what are issues? What can we talk about? We're not always going to agree on everything, but, there's certain things we have dishes to do, we have grass to cut, we've got whatever it might be. And then talk about, is there anything you're unhappy with? Are you unhappy with us? I mean, what would you like to see different? Well, there's really some honest, good discussion going on.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you have to have the leader and the person coordinating and making sure everybody doesn't start fighting each other. That, of course, is a test in some cases, but it's a good goal to work at, that there be this good communication. And you're going to see families that really do communicate well, family members. They do this. They do get together and they talk. And I like your idea where you're grilling out or you're going somewhere, doing something, and you use it as a time to be sharing and talking and just, you're, as a parent, you always want to be ready. You may not always have a planned meeting, but if you have an opportunity to talk and, sort things out and make things function more effectively, like you say, it's like a company, it's like a business, a family, it's a team.
I will say the leaders have to be humble and take criticism sometimes from, okay, I'm just going to peel back the onion here, Doc, just real quick as we wrap up on time, I know, but so we have these informal meetings, and my son who moved out still comes for cookouts, and we make that, it's family meeting time, right? I was told I spend too much time in my studio at my house. I'm in the basement studio way too much. And I said, well, how do you think the bills get paid and stuff? Yeah, but. And they were right, because it's my happy place outside of the family. I am so comfortable there. It's where I have a cot outside of my studio where I can take a nap if I get tired. So I have to make a concerted effort. I didn't see that until my kids told me that.
Excellent.
And out of that came a kayaking trip with my son, which is on the schedule now. That never would have happened had I not listened to them. So family meetings have to go both ways in a way. Yeah.
Listen, I agree, Mike. I think that and you've just given a perfect example of what can happen when you do talk and you sort out that even in your case, like, hey, listen, I've got to be doing some things too. We all can learn from talking and communicating, and everyone feels better. They feel like they're part of the team. It's a positive. When you have a loving family, caring family, it's where people have communicated, they've done things together, and it's really important.
And I think it's important. Get this, okay, because we got to wrap up, but I got to tell you. So my son came up with the idea of kayaking because he's now suddenly into it. Guy's never been on a kayak in his life. I have, and I hate it. But he wants to do it, so I'm going to have to do this. Oh, boy.
Mike,
wish
I
me
have
well.
a branch of my family in Italy that they all sing, they play guitars. I mean, they're as a team, and that can whatever you can do when you're together that can pull people together and do things. That's an important thing. Yeah, I really believe in that.
Have a family meeting, figure it out, and you have a short one. If you don't have to be real long, but do it. Dr. John Braccio, drjohnb.com on the web. Regional Psychological Services in East Lansing. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Doc. We'll see you again next week.
Hey, buddy. Talk to you later.
Hey, and
Bye-bye.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Same to you.
That's good stuff. It is. A family is a hierarchy. You can say no kings all you want, but that is the most efficient form of government, and not every king is a tyrant. We automatically think that. We've been trained to think